and there should be results. So there will be the leading and the lagging indicators, so to say. The unfortunate thing here, now I will share with you some of my experiences, not only globally but also in India, that many companies today, and Dr. Ramakrishnan, there are 35 companies in India who are developing the sustainability report based on GRI. There are 56 companies in India who are actually disclosing information on sustainability, but they are not mentioning whether they follow the GRI or not. That's a different, story, all that, yeah. So these companies, they focus mostly on the lower level. That's on the results and performance. Very few companies are disclosing information on the management approach and on the strategy. Would anyone like to think for 1 minute and say, why do you think this is happening? Why is disclosure in sustainability reports only giving out information on the results and performance and not on the management systems or not at the strategic level of where are my risks and opportunities on environment, social and governance? How do I take my organization in the next 5 to 10 years? Anyone in the audience? Why do you think that is happening? Is there any particular reason? Take a minute, yes? Lack of knowledge on what? On the framework? That in a report you have to give information at these 3 levels? Okay, lack of knowledge, yeah? Anyone else? Yeah? Fear of competitors, okay. So fear of competitors, that if I talk too much about my management systems and I talk too much about my context, then my competitors would be superseding me, okay. What is the other reason? Yeah? From this part of the room. Yeah? Fear of failure. Yes, fear of failure. That if and I think it's related, what she said. But I think the other context to this kind of disclosure which is happening is because at the board level, sustainability and sustainability considerations are not taking place. And therefore what is happening is, in a company you will see specifically these departments: corporate social responsibility department, environment, health and safety departments, you have finance department, HR department, what else? Procurement department. Sustainability and reporting would be given to one of these departments. And these people who are actually ingrained to just managing compliance on environment and social, or managing some aspects of strategic ways of moving environment and social, would be looking at results and performances only, because they would like to show their superiors that these are the results, these are the outcomes. But what happens behind a sustainability report making is that the management systems are enabling or pushing the organization to move forward. If there were no management systems, there wouldn't be results, good results. Yeah? So what happens is, companies tend to focus on just a few aspects. They will look at water, they will look at air, or they will look at labor practice, but they will not look at sustainability in a very holistic manner. And when I was talking about the 5 capitals and their interlinkages, and I was looking at water as whether an environmental issue or a social issue, this is exactly the confusion within companies. That is it going to be led by environment department? Is it going to be led by CSR department? Is it going to be the HR? And therefore companies are missing out the benefit of why do they need to measure and manage and communicate about their sustainability performance. And what is happening therefore is that environmental, social, governance and economic issues are never going to that board level where decision actually takes place. Yeah? And what is happening in the way that sustainability reports are being generated by these departmental heads, sustainability reports are not considered by CEOs and the managing directors and chairmen of companies. And what is happening, which is far and far difficult to comprehend, that the value of sustainability reporting dies down after like 5 or 6 years. However, there are around 1400 companies in the world who are considered to be 80% of the G250. They are continuing to report on sustainability performance for many years, maybe some of them for more than 10 years. And Dr. Ramakrishnan has been working with Philips for so many years, and I know from his experience from the Indian context and also from the global context that Philips has been really one of the leaders in sustainability reporting. And they have continued reporting for so many years without a stop. And do you think such kind of multinational companies do not understand what value do they get, or do they just want to use some effort at that level to work with so many countries and their operations and make a sustainability report every year? And this is why, as Indians, we need to find out what is the real challenge and how do we address. And therefore, today's interest for me to come here and address you as those future decision makers, and some of you maybe are already decision makers in companies, is to see that if I am already involved in a sustainability report making process, what am I doing now? How can I change? As future managers, what do I need to see as those sustainability risk and opportunities which could be linked to my financial risk and opportunities? And therefore, how do I actually measure, manage, communicate my sustainability performance of my organization? When GRI made all these aspects, now I am coming to the results and performance. These are the aspects which GRI considered for asking organizations to report on. And the aspects are on economic, that's the brown one, the environment is the green one, and the social, which is the lower level, is the blue one. Yeah? If you look at the environment, there are around more than 10 aspects talking about material, energy, water, biodiversity, emission, products, transportation, compliance, all that. Yeah? Come down to the social aspect. The social aspects have 4 subcategories, and the subcategories are looking at both internal social issues and external social issues. So when I talk about internal, that means which is within the control of the company, which is about labor practice and human rights, and the other part is the society and product responsibility. Some of you are from the marketing side also here today, yeah? Just think about, why do you think product responsibility aspects are part of the social element of sustainability? Why is that so? Is there a relation, or GRI did not really understand the issue and they just put it there? Yes? Okay. And the society, yeah? Okay. Did we hear him what he said? He said any product or service delivered by a corporation improves the quality of life of that community or the consumers. On the flip side, there would be many corporations who would be delivering products and services which would degenerate the quality of life maybe. Yeah? Right? And this degeneration of quality of life can come through the social aspect. Yeah? Maybe if I am in gambling, I am making a lot of money, but what am I giving back to the society? I am a big corporate. Yeah? Yeah? And therefore, these are the concepts that we need to consider. The product responsibility also comes from the fact that when I deliver a product, is it actually leading to health difficulties? Yeah? Those could be also social, because if you do not have a population which is healthy, how will you contribute to your GDP? Your economic indicator will again go down, right? If you have an unhealthy community of people and workers. The other aspect is the economic consideration. Yeah? The economic considerations are not about just finance. Let's look at the 3 performances. It's talking about how do you generate value and how do you distribute value? You have to disclose information on how does a business entity generate value and distribute value. The second one is about market presence and therefore focusing on local hiring and local supplies. How do you cater to that? Indirect economic impacts are all your community interventions and infrastructure development that you cater to. And there are around 79 indicators across economic, environment and social performances which a company needs to report on. But the funny thing is that most of the companies, they look at indicators and making a report. Whereas what a sustainability report needs is that what are your management systems on, managing those 4 subcategories of social, all the aspects of environment and the economic. And therefore, if I have to look at my business, thriving in this kind of competitive world and a globalized world in the next 5 to 10 years, what are my key risks and opportunities? 10 years back, have any corporations thought that climate change is going to impact them so much? No. But I bet most of the leading organizations, even in India today, are considering climate change as one of their key risks and opportunity areas. Risk because it may impact their product and they have to change their product maybe, they have to change their resource availability. Why opportunities? Because there is a global mechanism which is a market based mechanism called CDM, through which they can actually get far better technologies that one has in India and also generate new products in a more responsible manner. So these are the issues which are becoming now part of business risk and strategies and opportunities. And therefore, a sustainability report therefore is a tool. Sustainability report is not just a product which is a culmination of nice photographs and pages. Sustainability reporting is a process and a tool. And how do you need to use this process and tool? You can use them in various ways. You can use them to identify where you are today and what do you want to do tomorrow. Yeah? Where do you want to improve on your management systems? Where do you want to improve on your sustainability performances? And therefore, how do I